Welcome to the DTC Insider Podcast, where online business owners come to find actionable tips and tactics to grow their businesses. Now, here's your host, Brian Roisenthal.
Hey, welcome to another episode. I'm Brian Roisenthal, your host, and today we have a pretty interesting interview as we are going to talk with Matthew Barnett. He's the CEO and head of product of Bonjoro, a loyalty platform for building loyal customers that stay for life with over 50,000 happy customers. That's a lot. Before talking to him, let me tell you that this episode is brought to you by BSR Digital. At BSR Digital, we help e-commerce brands that want to scale their business to the next level through Facebook, Instagram, and Google Ads. Yes, even after the iOS 14 update, now more than ever, we understand that it's really important to level up the marketing and design a solid strategy, as what used to work doesn't anymore. So if your e-commerce brand lacks a solid plan and professional team to increase sales, we can help the same way we have helped more than 1,000 e-commerce brands like yours for over a decade. To learn more, you can visit us at bsrdigital.com, and you can also email us at hello@bsrdigital.com. Now, as promised, I have Matt here with me. Hey, man, thanks for being on the show.
No problem. Great to be here.
Yeah, and thanks for waking up early to do this. I really, really appreciate this.
But look at the coffee helps. I won't lie.
I don't know how you do it. I mean, I think I wake up early. I think before 7 a.m. to take my twins to kindergarten, but yours is, I mean, in a different level, right? What time do you wake up?
5 a.m. It's the good time, right? It's the quiet time before the team wakes up. Well, it used to be before the world woke up, but now that we're 24/7 around the world, that's not the case anymore. But it's yeah, you're either a morning or a night person. I would implore you, if you haven't tried it, give 5 a.m. a go for a couple of weeks. It takes a bit of getting used to, and then it's awesome.
I have always heard about that kind of routine, waking up early. It's super quiet. I particularly choose the nights. Well, not anymore, because otherwise I would get divorced, right? But I love usually the nights before, back in the university to study or to do some work. But never in the morning. I don't know why. I feel that I need the sleep, but I think it's all a matter of getting used to that, right?
Yeah, it's a routine. Like, it's harder, right? You actually wake up, whereas nighttime you just keep going. It's it takes effort. It's worth it, 100%.
Awesome. Well, man, I'm super happy to have you here. So why don't you start by telling the audience more about your story?
Yeah, so I run a company called Bonjoro. We ran an agency back in 2017. So the agency based out of Sydney, Australia, clients around the world. Look, really, really, really good for revenue, like a lot of fun for travel, but not so great for converting leads because everyone's on a different time zone. Australia is probably the worst time zone to be on. Like, great place to live, not great for global business. In terms of converting leads, like funnel, like as you all have, customers would come in. We'd be doing drip email campaigns, that kind of thing. We weren't great converting leads, but in person we were amazing. I'm very much like a jazz hands kind of guy. So we get in the room and do demos and kind of convert clients that way. So we started doing videos. We decided that we need to get more of us in front of our customers. So every lead that came in, we built a little hack where it would notify us overnight, and then I used to take a boat to work in the morning. I'd do a video to that client on the boat on the way to work. So I'm like, hey James, I saw you signed up from Ogilvy in London. We already work with Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch and Stella Artois. I see you looking to do some work for Heineken. Look, I'll be in London in 6 weeks. Why don't I come in and kind of like show you around and show you what we do? And the first piece of comments they would ever get would be a video of me, like 30 seconds on a mobile phone, on a boat with the wind in my hair, seagulls flying around. And that's what they get. And they loved it, yeah. Like, so we like triple that conversion rates. Most of the time they couldn't understand me. I'm not the clearest speaker in the world. On a boat with wind, they definitely couldn't hear what I say, but they were like, I heard you mention Budweiser. This is hilarious. Come in and see us, right? So they just thought it was funny. And that's the point of this, yeah, is that, when people like your brand and they like your offering, but they also like you, the people behind it, yeah? And I think, when we've gone online, we've lost a lot of that. So with us, we started to get more and more customers. Look, long story short, one of those clients asked if they could use this video messaging system. So we hacked it together over a weekend with a load of beers and pizza, put them on it. Some of their customers asked to use it. Within 12 months, it overtook the original agency in terms of size. And then what we've done is we've kind of like looked at where that was going, and essentially what we were doing was creating and this amazing first impression for leads coming into a funnel, which generated more loyal customers from the get-go. And now we've started to look at how we help people build, I guess, a customer funnel with loyalty as kind of the core strategy. So now we've just launched a video testimonials piece where you can collect testimonials off your customers, embed it on your sites really easy. So you can create more loyal customers and then use them. And we're starting to fill in more of the gaps along that journey. But ultimately, we also now run a SaaS company, and like loyalty is the number one way that we grow. Like everything's about lifetime value. There's no point getting a customer if they're just going to purchase with us once. We want them to come back, 5 years down the line and purchase more and more. That's the way that we grow. So we started to build that as a company and the ethos behind it.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting story. And about what you said, about, loyalty, lifetime value. It's that, things have changed, in the e-commerce space, in many spaces, right? But in the e-commerce space. So what do you think that changed around, the need of, for every brand out there to build the brand, to have loyal customers, to implement some retention strategies? What do you think that has changed over the last few years about that?
Yeah. Look, e-commerce has gone through massive upheaval in the last kind of 3 years, I think. Obviously a massive boom. Look, I think originally e-commerce, it was very much about like operations, cost, and kind of like SEO. So if you get your products in front of the customers at the right cost, you get them, yeah. And then that, as more and more brands came online, suddenly competition got fiercer and fiercer, and the ability to kind of dropship and stuff like made that harder to compete there. So then what we start to see is that you need to compete on other dimensions. And so over the last, I guess, kind of 24 months, you suddenly started hearing e-commerce starting to talk about lifetime value, which is a concept that we use a lot in SaaS, where I'm from, which is that it's not about a single purchase. A customer, if they purchase once, they're worth, let's say, $100, if that's their purchase fee. If they then come back and purchase twice a year, every year for 10 years, then they're worth $2,000, right? Because they're paying $100 every 6 months. Now, what's better, a $100 customer or $2,000 customer? Like, obviously, the $2,000 customer. The way that you get people to come back and repurchase, it's definitely linked to product and to operations, but it's also massively linked to service as well. Now in e-commerce, there's huge differentials in service. So there is the support side of things, how quick your delivery is, which is really important. So like aftercare supports. There's also the actual company and the brand as well, and the people behind it. So when you connect with customers as a brand or on a personal level, and like I said earlier, what we found was that it's not just a brand, it's the people behind the company that make the brand. And this is really important for early stage companies as well. If you can connect with your customers on a personal level, it's very unusual in the online space to do that, and if they like you and they see that you care and that you're trying, when they next want to purchase, they're more likely to come back and repurchase from you, and to open your marketing emails and to look at deals and to come back in again. And this is just as true in e-commerce as it is in other industries. And if you think about it offline, you might go and buy a piece of something from a hardware shop. You have multiple choices of hardware shops you go to. Obviously, location is part of that and what they have, but then the ones that you go back to, the ones that you enjoy more over time, you will start to build loyalty towards a brand. Online, it's no different, right? Like, the people are important. And if you can kind of get through to customers, show them that you care, again, especially as an early stage company without a well-known global brand, people love that. And they start to come back, and they start to kind of and again, they won't just delete your marketing emails, they'll look at it and see what's happening there. And so over time, they will repeat purchase, and potentially, I know we're going to talk about this, you can move them on to other models, like subscription and stuff, where they stay for 10 times as long as you normally expect.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, it is said that there are 3 levers for success, right? For any business, right? Acquiring customers, increasing the AOV or the average order value, and then increasing the lifetime value, right? So in this case, the focus on the conversation, and correct me if I'm wrong, is not only on the first one, but it's most on the other 2, right? Increasing the AOV, increasing the LTV, of course, by increasing the customer loyalty, right? So what are some of the, some examples you can give the audience on how they can do that, through Bonjoro or without Bonjoro even, right? What are some of the tips that you can give the audience this Q4, for example, for increasing loyalty? Even in 2023, right? Not only for Q4.
Yeah. So like I'll talk about a couple of examples. One straight up, is so like it does depend a little bit on your average purchase value, and your expected lifetime value. If you're selling $1 widgets, you might not want to invest as much time. If you're selling like pieces, then this is worth it. So what we see a lot of e-commerce do is they'll stick to their normal kind of lead funnel. So people coming in and purchasing their first product. Once they've purchased, when delivery's gone out and the customers receive that package, either as it's being sent out, they'll often have people like in the workshop as they're packing up the delivery, sending out a message saying, "Hey, your delivery's on its way. Let us know when you get it and if you have any questions." So they build that excitement, right? And they do this with like this. I'll talk to video here because this is what we know. So do like a 10, 15-second video saying, hey, Jane, we just packed your products. It's on its way. Should be with you in a couple of days. Like, let us know when you get it, if everything's okay, or if you have any questions. Okay. So then Jane gets the excitement. She sees something's on the way. Like that's like unexpected, like pre-delivery service. More common is that once something has been delivered, what we'll have is people will wait a couple of days. They'll then drop a message in and say, "Hey, Jane, I saw that you received your XYZ. Just want to check that everything's okay. Is it as you expected? And if it is everything you expected, here's a link to our Trustpilot review. Can you go and leave us a review, please?" Now what that does is you kind of pop your head in, and first of all, if Jane has any like negative feedback or anything wasn't as expected, she doesn't go online and rant about it. She'll come straight back to you, and so you're preempting that, and so you're offering like great customer service, So she'll come directly back to you, talk to you privately. You'll be able to solve that, and then you have a happy customer. And often, like psychologically, if somebody has an issue and you solve it well, they become like this is how you actually create advocates. So it gives you the opportunity to do that. Secondly, if she is happy and you do that post delivery service, like is she more likely to go and give you a review? Like 10 times more likely. I think we can't measure it. It's like 7 to 8 more times likely to go and give you a review afterwards. And she'll give you a positive review as well at that point. So what you're doing here is you're doing like support. You try to do exercises of support. You're showing your human face, and there's people behind the company as well, which is also less likely to go and like give any negative feedback online because she suddenly realizes there's a human there. She's going to warm to your brand because you've taken time with her, and then she's going to go and give you. So you get like multiple hits here, right? It's a really good piece to do. When that,
No, sorry. I just want to say that I can definitely see the value there because I, as a customer, when I buy something, I'm not constantly, but pretty often hitting refresh to see the shipping status and getting a message, even more like a video message from someone at the warehouse saying, "Hey, whatever, the this is being shipped and blah blah," and then getting another message when you receive the product, trying to make sure that you like it and you're okay with it, and otherwise to do something about it. That's already in the early stage of the purchase, and it's a pretty good thing to do, right? It's a pretty valuable thing to do, and people receive it well, I think.
Look, and it's timing right as well, So you're in that excitement purchase phase, And so the point I mentioned about asking for like reviews and stuff is that like people are excited, So you get a good review at that point. Again, it's a review that's not going to be only based on the product; it'll be based on the service too. And again, when people look for who to purchase with, so like we're looking at doing like a very large purchase like right now, and like post sale support is a massive part of like of why we're looking at like this purchase, right? So I'm looking at reviews and I'm going, I know the product's good. How good are they in 12 months' time if something goes wrong, right? And so if you do this and then like the services, and so all reviews like the service is amazing, like it matters. And it doesn't matter if it's a big piece or whether it's like whether you do online coffee or anything, like that does matter. Now the other thing you do here is that like if you give to customers, and what you're doing here is you're giving them your time, you're showing them you care, everything else. It allows you to have an ask, right? Now that ask could be a review, but it can also be things like joining a rewards club or joining a community or joining a subscription model, right? So moving customers from a single purchase into something where they are more valuable. And again, like the value for customers comes from different areas, right? They can put down like more money. And this is things like subscription models, which I'll come back to. They can upgrade or purchase like a next product. Hey, we're just shipping this up. Did you want to add on XYZ for 50% less? But it also matters if people go and do things like join your community. and start to like chat online or start to or leave reviews, right? Or even give product feedback. Yeah, this is all about social proof, and this is all about driving new customers into your funnel as well. Yeah, so once you have a more loyal customer, we've given a great experience, that customer can potentially go and get you three more customers. So loyalty plays out not only in direct like lifetime value where they'll spend more, it also plays out in net new traffic, because like a lot of purchases today are driven by online reviews or referrals, right? You ask somebody, how about this? Yeah, or someone says, hey, you should check out this company for X, Y, Z. Like it's ridiculous. So like we buy flour for making bread, yeah, like it's a commodity. But then one of the other guys on my team also makes sourdough, and he's like, hey, you need to try this flour. Like it's awesome. It comes in a couple of days. And so we go and buy that flour, right? And yeah, it's a commodity. Like I'm sure that flour is no different to the stuff we were buying before. We've now switched. So this referral thing is really important. But again, like it gives you that opportunity to ask someone to go on something else. And then if you ever reach out in the future with like marketing or with follow-up emails or like your drip campaign that comes, if that comes from the person who sent the video, everyone's like, oh, I remember Steve. He's that guy. Like they feel like they have a personal connection to you, yeah, like I do, yeah. And so you go, oh, this is not just a company. This is not just Amazon with no face. This is Steve doing his coffee delivery business, right? So a great example here is I'll talk about subscription models. And we're going to get to this. So like one customer we have does coffee beans, right? There's lots of great coffee beans. I'd say it's a fairly commoditized industry. You have obviously different like premium, mid, kind of low tier. It's dictated by price. When you buy online, you're not getting to taste the beans, right? It's things delivered by taste and flavor. But online, it's about brand and pricing. Now, this guy, basically what he does is, and he's pretty big now, yeah? They actually go and like mix and roast all the beans themselves. So what he'll do is before stuff is shipped, is he'll do videos from the roasting room. And now the founder doesn't do it anymore. Like multiple of his team carry on this, yeah, because they kind of got too big. But they'll do it in the bean roasting area. And after an order, they'll be like, look, we're just roasting your beans. They're going to ship out in a couple of days. And what you actually get to see the machine, them doing it. And they're based West Coast in the States. So you're like, oh, wow, these guys are actually doing the roasting. This is really cool. And they have a business where there's like quite a nice place to do videos. Like it looks great. And at the end of the video, they go, did you know we have a subscription model where you can save $200 a year? And we'll deliver coffee to you every 2 months. Right now we're doing 5% off. If you want to switch over, there's a button on this video. Click on, and I'll add you to the list. Now, since doing the videos, I think they got 6 times more of their customers converting over to the subscription model. And they went, I think, in their first 2 months from doing like $5,000 a month subscription to I think $88,000 a month subscription. So from doing single time purchase to subscription, and their lifetime value went up, I think something like, again, like I'm just quoting here, I think it's like 14 times, because most of the customers will actually only purchase once because of brands. People will try the coffees and want to try the stuff, yeah. And then suddenly they have people purchasing on a bi-monthly basis for the next kind of 3 years. So their business just like tripled overnight. Just like doing this, yeah. And
yes, sorry, go ahead.
And the whole reason the product was the same, the brand was the same, was the fact that there was a founder there in the room with the beans mixing, and people were like, I love this. This is a legit company. They're doing their products. They've taken time. I wasn't going to buy subscription, and everyone could see it on the site. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I'll just do it. Whatever. It's great.
Yeah. All this is amazing, and I have a lot of questions, so I'm going to go through them one by one, right? Because it is said, and we have covered this in many episodes in the podcast, that people don't buy products only anymore. They buy experiences, and you said it yourself in an interview, and I liked the way you said it. And it was something like, the review, for example, is not only based on the product; it's based on the experience. In this case, with the customer support, with the service you received, right? It's not only the product, right? So a few things, I don't want to forget about any, because it's really, really interesting. And I myself want to know the answers, right? But one of them is like, mapping out the customer journey. You have already covered a few, a few actions brands can take since the moment they are shipping the order until the trying to, suggest people to buy again, right? But one thing that I can keep thinking is that, you know, it was it was always said that brands need to it is better for brands to show what's behind scenes, to show what they stand for, and but it's not that easy to mix it up in the customer journey. It was more of, I don't know, social post, email marketing, but it was not like, I don't know how to say this, but embedded in the customer, in the customer
Yeah.
journey, right? In this case, you're saying, for example, the founder is actually recording a video showing how they are roasting the coffee beans, right? So that's like showing behind the scenes the processes. It's not a social video, a generic social video showing, this is our factory, this is how we do it. It's
Yeah.
actually within the customer experience. Does it make sense? That's the
Yeah.
cool thing
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like to like that guy now. Like he doesn't do it anymore. Yeah, his team do it. Yeah, and they have a massive like a massive warehouse, mostly beans. Yeah, but like people are on the floor there working. Yeah, so they can take 10 minutes and go to these. Yeah, so like it's a process, right? And not everyone. Not everyone, every e-commerce is in there because they might be doing drop shipping for somewhere else, yeah. But it doesn't really matter. It's not so much about the fact the beans are there. Like it makes his really cool, but it's more about the fact that he would take the time, yeah. Or that somebody on the team would make the time. It doesn't have to be the founder. Again, when you first start, like do it, yeah, because
Yeah.
you also get loads of feedback, right? It's also really good for like keeping one-on-one to your customers. But I think having those personalized touch points. So the key here is personalization, right? Now, the one thing that e-commerce has that I'm massively jealous of, like again, we're an online subscription software, is that we don't ever get to put anything in people's hands, right? Like if you turn the power off, our brand would be gone into the like it's disappeared, right? Like there's
Many,
nothing
many
on people's desks.
hormones. Yeah.
Yeah, so we looked at how about so like we do something in our company where when people hit certain like periods in where they've sent X number of videos or they've used the platform for so long, we basically send people bear suits. So we send them because our logo is a bear. So we would send them like bear suits either for them or for their kids. Most people take the option for their kids. So basically, like we send these like just as a surprise, and what it does, it gets to put a tangible item in the user's hands. And they'll always take videos, take pictures, and go to social media with it. Yeah. And anyone who we do that to stays on average like 1.7 times longer. Now, the point is they actually get our brand in their hands. Now, as an e-commerce company, I'm surprised at how few times, and like I like in Australia, like I order everything online. Like I don't go to the shops anymore. Everything comes online like daily. Very few companies make use of that moment while I'm unboxing and they can put something in there into my hands. It's like they give me like some like flyers for partners, and I don't care about that, right? Now, I have a weird story here. So I live out in the bush. So we're like our backyard is like forest. So I ordered a machete online for basically like for gardening and chopping back stuff, right? I'm not a psycho. And then the machete came online, and like strapped to the machete was like a bunch of like sweets and a little handwritten note by the guy, and he was like something like chopping down like plants is tiring enough. Here's some sweets for the extra energy, or something stupid, yeah. And like I always remember this company, like this guy, like it's a machete, yeah. Like the government sweets, and I just like I thought it was great, and it's so silly, you know. But like it's made me remember it, and like now I must have told about 10 people to go and buy machetes off the sky, right? It's ridiculous that would have worked, but then like it's amazing how few e-commerce packages have handwritten notes. Some do. It's like 1 in 50. I don't know. It's very awesome. A little handwritten notes or a little extra something that you can put in someone's hands, and tangible is really, really powerful. Like to me, that's more powerful than online,
Yeah.
right? You know?
Well,
So like
since you're
you have this opportunity, you have the best touch point in the world to do this, right?
yeah.
Don't waste that touch point.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, I see a lot in common with someone I interviewed last year. He's a former Disney executive,
Yeah.
and he consults company on creating wow experiences for team members and customers. and he said something similar. He has a book, for example, right, on Disneyfying, as he called it, experiences, right? Um, and it was like mapping out the user journey, the customer journey, and for example, for his book, trying to create something disruptive, you know,
Yeah.
or something, different, not disruptive sometimes, but different. As you said, for example, including a handwritten note or including a bookmark, in the book, including
Yeah.
a special thank you note for buying the book, including a pen, because I don't know if you want to take notes about something
Yeah.
you want to highlight something. So it's like, okay, to do a custom packaging whenever you can, right? Instead of
Yeah.
cardboard, packaging. So it was about that, and I think it's a great episode for everyone to go listen. And I'll I'm trying to remember the name. Bands. I don't get the last name right now, but I will for sure include that in the show notes because he's great. But something I wanted to ask you is for those listening that say, I want to be one of those guys. I want to create that experience for my customers. What does it take on the back end? Do you have? I mean, do you need to have a lot of manpower? One person will do to start off
Yeah.
with. How does it work?
Look, start small, yeah. Like anything, yeah. Like if you're doing ads, don't go drop 20 grand. Like start small, right? Like test and see how it works. This is no different, yeah. So like in my industry, this whole area we call customer success, right? So this idea of looking after customers and getting them to kind of value. So I think just have somebody in the company who takes responsibility for it. Like that's number one thing. So give someone this as a role, and this could be you as a founder, as a starter. It could, like, if you're a bigger team, it could be one of your shop floor people. It could be anything. Yeah, it could be a CMO. And basically say, look, we want to create more delightful experiences for customers. You can go wild. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It doesn't have to cost a lot of time. Like again, like go like video messaging, send them out to 25 customers and just see what happens, right? Like that takes 20 minutes every time. That's a pretty good ROI on like a test. Yeah. Like you should be able to test anything small. You shouldn't have to go all in for anything. Obviously doing things like putting stuff into packaging. If you're like there helping do the packaging, or you can get into the warehouse, again, do it with 100 customers and just see what happens, right? I've got people who do SMS. Like I've talked to e-commerce companies where their shop floor people will do SMSs directly and be like, "Hey, this is Stephen, just back boxing up. Here's a picture," and off they go. Yeah. That now, what happens is once you prove this out, and when I say prove it, I'll just talk quickly about leading, lagging indicators. So it's not like you put these in suddenly the next day your business doubles. So you have to be able to look. Some of this stuff will take time to filter through. Now, what might happen is that when you do this, you find that people are more likely to come back and purchase, but maybe the purchase cycle is every 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. Yeah, so it might be less immediate. Yeah, so you might need to look at what they're doing first. Like, are they responding back to the company and going, "Thanks so much"? Are you getting more reviews, like a higher review rate? Are you getting, like, if you do a subscription model, are people switching over to that earlier? Are people opting into a loyalty club? Are people joining your social media? That's what you're looking for, is like an indicator that this person is more engaged than the average person. If you do 100 of those and do 100 without, you should see a difference. You might do more, right? So what you're looking for is an indicator this person is more engaged. If they're more engaged, then the chances are they, on average, they will stay longer or be more loyal or be more likely to repurchase. Yeah, but you have to kind of like look at the front end. So do a test, run it against a group of customers where you don't do it, look at the numbers, and then make a call, like with the evidence. Yeah, go, oh, we think this is working. Okay, we'll do another 100. Oh, we're actually pretty sure this is working. Let's go and do 1,000. Okay, we're definitely sure this is working. Now let's put someone else in this because I'm too busy. Right. So you build everything up step by step. Don't invest much money in this kind of stuff at all. Just test these little pieces. Yeah. Like I know they work. like guarantee they work. What you might find though is that some touch points are more valuable than others, and some mechanisms, so digital versus real world, like delight options, might work better for you as a company. It depends on your brand and what the product is doing and how your cycle goes. The one thing I mentioned very quickly, because I keep saying subscription models. I know we said this at the beginning. Personally, I think any e-commerce company could do a subscription model to an extent. I think just thinking outside the box, yeah, you've like something like the coffee guy is super easy because you can order coffee on a regular basis. Whereas other pieces like high ticket items or one-off purchases, you could do things like just think about something else you can sell as a subscription. So you can go and get a new product that you can sell alongside it as a subscription. The other thing you can do is I see a lot of companies now, like there's a big company here called Naked Wines, it's in the States and the UK as well. But basically buying wine, what they do is they take money off from your bank account every single month. So they take like $10, $20. And then when you've got $150, which might take 12 months, they then message you and be like, hey, go buy some wine. You've got enough money now. So you're not actually buying wine every month. They're taking money so you can then go and buy it later on. So they act as like a bank account. And they obviously have other mechanisms where they can use that money for interest and stuff, right? But it's super interesting because suddenly when the money's in there, and they'll happily pay it back to you at any point, so zero risk for the customer. Suddenly they're like, oh, you've got this money. Do you want to get something else? And you're like, oh, sure, cool. Off we go. I think there's like really creative ways you can do things like subscription to keep customers coming back again and again, and as a revenue model, if you could do it like 100%. I'm just telling you, like it's an awesome business model.
Yeah, I have a few questions on that. That's pretty interesting. I'm thinking, you know, subscription, as you mentioned, doesn't need to be on your core offer, or it could be. I mean, it could be a complementary service you offer, complementary products, as you said. It could be a subscription to your main products too. It could be a downsell to, I don't know, some people I know they offer, I don't know, join our community for X a month, besides, the consumer products. What other things have you seen useful for a subscription model besides that? Or I don't know.
Yeah, so services and content is interesting. It doesn't have to be a physical product, right? So, I've seen physical product companies then launch like software companies off the back of it, yeah. Or like an app that helps you, like a health foods company launches like a health foods app to track stuff, yeah. Like you said, you can always join like a subscription where you put money $1 a month, and then you get bigger discounts in the future, or discounts for friends or something else. Yeah, like I think the point of this, like, there's 2 points to a subscription model, and to think about approach it this way. Yeah, to think backwards from the reason why you're doing it. The first one obviously is revenue. So the customer pays again, yeah, then the lifetime value is higher, yeah. So that's great. But as important is the fact that you keep that person, you have a reason to keep that person engaged with your brand. And if somebody is paying you on a regular basis, they are by default already more engaged in your brand because they're putting money where the mouth is, so to speak. Right. So if you're paying something every month, are you more likely to go and purchase from that, or to use that revenue? Like absolutely. Yeah. Or to use that company. So it gives you a reason to keep talking to that customer. And if you keep talking to them, if you could take $1 a month off a customer for something non-committal, like it seems like nothing, but if they're giving you that, how easy is it to then go, oh, just add this $20 on, just click here and pay, and they have to add the credit card details. There's no friction there. The friction's super low. It pops up and they go, yeah, cool, and that's done, right? So like, but the point is, if they're paying you like a micro amount, and then $1 could be for services, it could be for content, it could be for extra support in the future, warranty is subscription, like all these things, yeah. It's much easier to then like go back to them and get them to purchase something else down the line. That for me is almost, for some companies that's almost more interesting than the actual like revenue piece, because like I say, it could be an incremental subscription that leads to future revenue down the line, or maybe you're going to launch another product in 6 months that this customer will then want, right? Yeah. But in 6 months, if they're gone, you can't sell it to them. So how do you keep them engaged for that 6 months?
Yeah, I read something, I think by Alex Hormozy recently, talking about, having to always have something to sell or to offer on the back end, right? Not only on the front end. Everyone is focusing on the front end, on the first purchase, on the ROAS, right? But not on the lifetime value, not on the offers they can have on the back end. And that could make their lives much easier, right? As well as, keeping up with the high cost of acquiring customers nowadays. If you're acquiring customers through advertising, for example, or any other paid channel, it's not cheap to get people through the door. And once they buy from you, why don't having? Yes, exactly.
Or or like partner with other companies, right? So take like often I'll see subscription. So like it's just a lot in subscription models where you get like the wine and they'll be like in there, there'll be things like HelloFresh and all the other subscription models like discounts, right? But then when HelloFresh send theirs out, they'll put in the cards and naked wines. Yeah. So basically all these companies partner together and they all kind of share that user base because they know they're a user base who will pay a monthly fee. So the other thing you do is team up with the company. So let's say you don't have a second product, team up with somebody else who does. Maybe they become the subscription, but the deal is you're then allowed to put your marketing material in the box to their customers, right?
Yep.
But you drive them subscription customers. So like you share the customer base, and between you, you're able to offer something that's ongoing value for that customer, right? Like that's really interesting. And there's definitely companies you can find to do that with. Often the sum of the parts is worth the whole is worth more than the sum of the parts. That makes sense, yeah. So they might charge $10, you might charge $10, but together you can get $50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Think outside the box.
Do you have, I mean, at the top of your mind, some Shopify apps or some apps e-commerce brands can use to do this subscription, the switch to the subscription model easily?
I know there's quite a few out there. I couldn't tell you which ones are better, to be honest. Because I know there's a few, each with pluses and minuses. I think have a look. Yeah, I think some of them are built for like smaller subscription models, so kind of more commoditized, and some are like for large pieces. Some I don't know if there's one that's built specifically around like taking revenue to build up like a cash bank to then come in and deliver products at the end. I don't know if you can change one of the ones that exist to do that. Like I haven't heard of it. You'd probably know more than me on that front. Like I don't want to suggest anything because again, like I think have a look, see what others do. The cash one's interesting, yeah. Like I think it's a pretty good model. I think most companies I know that do it tend to have their own piece that does that. They tend to direct debit directly, yeah.
Okay. So about this exciting time we're about to live here in the e-commerce space, which is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, etc. Do you have any particular tips for brands that want to get something cool out of those commercial dates besides the first time orders? What can they do?
It's sometimes test stuff, yeah. Like this is the best time to like test stuff out, right? Like it's one day, you can't go wrong because if you price something wrong, doesn't matter about it. Yeah, your prices are back to normal next day, right? So if you want to test the subscription or something, like put it together and just chuck it out on Black Friday. See if it works. Yeah, see if people buy into it. This is how we test stuff. You have like a launch sale, test it. If it works, it works. Great. If it doesn't work, you've lost nothing. The other thing is just more traditionally, when you are selling through Black Friday, put something in those boxes, like delivery digital experiences afterwards, yeah, because you suddenly got like this extra funnel that comes in, like if you've done your job correctly. It's a great cohort to measure and say, can we keep that cohort longer? Yeah. I know they're obviously coming in for sales, but they're still cohort, right? So, and they're a very definable cohort where they've come in a few days and you can measure them and you can keep hold of them. So it's super easy to watch. Yeah. So if you try new stuff with this cohorts, it's super easy to measure them versus your normal customers and see, do they repeat purchase this time? Again, just be aware, obviously there are biases. People coming in for Black Friday sales might not be your normal customers. So I think just there is an awareness there. But it's a great time to try new experiences because you can measure them and look at them in 6 months and say, did they repurchase? Did they stay longer? Did this work? X, Y, Z? And we know that we did this on those 2 days. So I think it's a really good time to try that. It's a really good time to test stuff. And again, if you mess me up, doesn't matter because it's Black Friday. The next day, you put your prices back to normal, and like no one's going to notice, right?
Yeah. You've been great. I mean, you've shared a lot of value because we usually talk about, acquisition or retention through email marketing, SMS, but not about, customer loyalty and how to probably create disruptive and different, approaches to the customer journey. So this is great. Everyone should go and check Bonjoro. Everything mentioned here, every resource will be in the show notes. If you head to fitgrowthmachine.com, every show note will be there. If you are on Apple Podcast, you will have the brief version of the show notes. So you head to fitgrowthmachine.com to see the full show notes with every resource mentioned here. You've been great. And to wrap up, I like to ask the guest about the favorite books. I cannot keep. I keep reading about the same thing over and over again, right? So this is more of a selfish question, and I hope, of course, it's useful for the audience to get more, insightful books on business, productivity, or anything else. It's healthy too. So, do you have any to recommend?
Yeah, I think two. I think one, read Pat Flynn's Superfans book. It's not geared completely around e-commerce, but I think always read books from outside your industry, because you want to steal ideas, and you don't want to steal ideas from in your industry because everyone's doing them. Steal them from other industries. So have a look at it. He talks about how to move customers from passive to active to super fans, so they stay longer and spend more over time. It's a really good book. Another book unrelated is, I'm just finished rereading Netflix's No Rules Rules. It's a book about culture and teams, and how to build high performing teams. If you are a business owner and you haven't read it yet, and you're building a team and you're growing, go read it. It's like, I just read it again, and I'm like, this is like, it's basically Netflix's story and how it's successful through hiring. Number one challenge of business is people. I think we can all agree that. So it's a great book just to go and read if you haven't, for that reason.
That's awesome. Yeah, I read the first one, and he's definitely good. I follow Pat Flynn, great guy, great professional, and great book too. I will definitely read the other one and get back to you on that. So is there anything else? Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think will benefit the audience before we wrap up?
I think, again, if you take one thing away, it's about experiences, right? You need to just stop for a minute and shock customers. You need to turn up in person at some point, right? So just think about one single personalized moment on that customer journey. Just start with one and just do much better than any competition on that. And I guarantee it's going to work. What that is, I'll leave up to you.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here. I really, really appreciate it. It was a pleasure to have you on, Matt.
No problem. Thanks, Brian.
This episode was brought to you by BSR Digital. We help DTC brands grow through paid ads and email marketing campaigns. If you'd like us to help your business grow, head on over to bsrdigital.com and schedule a call with us.